Hello, folks, and welcome back to Dub After. This is Chris, Straight Voltage live stream. Good to see some folks already here. Thanks for tuning in today. For those who are watching some other programs, I noticed most people aren't on right now, and I wasn't planning on going in this moment. For those who haven't seen it, this is my most recent arrival in the mail. Came just a couple days ago. The Keep America Great hat from the Trump 2020 campaign. There you go. Comes with a lovely orange 45 on the side here. On the other side, Stars and Stripes, and then in the back, Trump 2020. Awesome, huh? Cool beans. Well, I'm going to set it aside because I'm wearing a 2019 rugby jersey for the Velvicious, and I'll put this on because my hair is doing its own thing today. I was out working on the lawn earlier. So, folks, thanks for tuning in. Chris here, coming to you from central Pennsylvania on this Sunday, May 31st, 2020. And today's topics are various. Going to talk about South Africa, talk about the United States and what's happening here and there. I'm not going to stray into the riots. I'm going to avoid that as possible. Let's see who's here. So Kyle, welcome. William, good to see you. Andre Prince, hey, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing. Andre, I think you're my most recent subscriber, at least the most recent one I know about. Thank you so much for subscribing. I see you're wearing a Nubian jersey tonight. Always the look. Yeah, I love the look of their stuff. The Velvets are pretty cool. I'm telling you, yeah, it's good stuff. So this is 2019 jersey. It's from Mizuno, which is a Japanese company, and this is, of course, the Velvets logo right here. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So cool stuff. Yeah, great team. They really do a good job qualifying for the Rugby World Cup in each and every time, so it's pretty awesome. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. It was once again, this is a stray voltage. This was an unplanned stream. I just decided to do this because a few events happened today that I wanted to talk about, and I thought people might be interested in hearing about them. Holly says, for future streams for South Africans, Helen Zill and Big Daddy would be great guests. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to hear Big Daddy Liberty on my stream or me on his stream, you need to tell Big Daddy Liberty. I've written to the gentleman twice. I don't know if he doesn't check his mail or he's just super busy, probably both, but I've not heard back from him. I'm not going to pester him. Anyway, if anyone would like to see us talk, I've heard a lot of people on Ronaldo, on Roman's stream here say that, oh, they really love to see Big Daddy Liberty and I go head to head, not head to head, but have a conversation. And I've watched his videos. I subscribe to his channel. I find him very interesting. And I like the fact that he's not a white guy. What I mean by that is that you need all voices in this conversation, this cogent conversation, talk about what's happening. And Big Daddy Liberty is a different voice from a different ethnicity. And sometimes that's necessary to get people to pay attention. When someone shares your worldviews, it doesn't matter what they look like, whether they're purple, green, blue, red, orange. Well, apparently Orange Man Bad doesn't work. But anyway, my point is that if someone shares your worldview, your political ethos, then why not work with them? So Big Daddy Liberty, from what I've seen, seems to share many of the same views that I share. And so it would be interesting to have that conversation. Anyway, so if you guys want that, you need to tell him. Go into his streams and tell him, hey, you should talk to the Colonel. Anyway, yeah. So who else we got here? Jesse Lopez, good to see you here. Thank you for coming. Bite your ankles. How's it a bit dodgy, but you're here? Okay, I'm not going to ask why it's dodgy, but I'm glad that you're here. Wesley, good to see you. Yeah, Wesley, I don't know if you caught the at the end of Ronaldo's stream. I said, yeah, I guess I'll go start the stream. Johan Herman, welcome. Yeah, I didn't plan on doing this, but let's get straight to it, folks. Okay, well, before I do, William says, what's the weather like in Pennsylvania? William, is absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous out there. The temperature says it's like 82, which would be around 30 Celsius, but it doesn't feel that way because the humidity is much lower than it was the past few days. So it absolutely feels amazing. I would argue that this is the nicest spring day we've seen yet here, and it's quite lovely. So I used part of the day earlier to go out and do some yard work, take care of a number of things out there. Still have a horrible looking lawn as a consequence of poor developers and poor lawn maintenance on their or setting it up. So I'm still trying to recover from that. But anyway, yeah, it's quite lovely here. I know it's cold in Cape Town. I've heard people say that. Dreon, welcome aboard. Good to see you there. Yeah, but the weather's quite good. So let me get to the first thing here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Yeah, there's the out of control hair. All right, so there we go. Put the hat on so it's not too distracting. President Donald Trump has tweeted that he will issue an executive order designating Antifa, the so-called anti-fascist organization, designating them as a terrorist group. Now, I don't know if he's designated an international terrorist or as a domestic terrorist group, but I don't care. This is long overdue. This is an organization full of malcontents and anarchists funded by big money interests from progressives and leftists whose only objective is to make a place ungovernable. Does it sound familiar, South Africa? You may be familiar with that. Yeah, but here in the U.S., this group has been tolerated far too long. the assaults on innocent civilians walking around. Oh, by the way, at the moment you say something about the protests in this country, oh, you're just a racist. Funny, most of the people I see doing the damage and running around, attacking people, beating people in the streets, kicking them, knocking their teeth out, nearly beating a person to death with bricks, most of them are white. So I guess if you're a racist and you're white and you're attacking white behavior, you must be a self-loathing racist. Anyway, it's utterly nonsense narrative. These events have nothing at this stage to do with what happened in this country, and they barely had anything to do with it from the outset. Only in Minneapolis could anyone make a legitimate argument that was the case. Anyway, I'm not going to go into depth on that, but President Trump will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. Long overdue. The same sort of organizations like ISIS, Al Qaeda, Boko Haram, November 17th, the Red Army faction, the Red Brigades, the IRA. Yes, these are all terrorist organizations, and Antifa also. Yep, absolutely. It's long overdue, long overdue. Bush Trevor says, good evening. I'm liking the Velvetches jersey. Well, thank you. I love it too. This one was, for those who don't know the story, we've got some more folks just tuning in. You're listening to Adobe Africa. This is Chris coming to you from central Pennsylvania, where it's a lovely day outside, late afternoon, and no chaos around us at the moment, at least. The closest metropolitan area from here is about 25 kilometers, so it's peri-urban here, mostly rural. But the jersey, I got this jersey at Toyota City when I went to watch the Springboks play the Velvetches at the Rugby World Cup 2019 in Japan. And I arrived, I didn't have this jersey because they weren't made until just before the game started, so you couldn't order them online, and they're done by this Japanese company, Mizuno, which some of you may know from golf shirts and from tennis kit. But yeah, so they, I think they do soccer too. But anyway, so they produced it, and it was for the World Cup. It's quite, I love the red stripes under the armpits. Isn't that cool? It's a nice touch. There you go. It's really cool. Anyway, so I got there and the jersey wasn't available, but I went to the game and I arrived early because it was such a ways off to Toyota City Stadium. And it was not my first game. It was the second time I went there, I think. Anyway, so I meant to go to the fan zone, but it was oppressively hot. People were baking because the humidity was just so brutal there in Japan at the time. And people said, you don't want to go in there. It's like a hen house, you know, just everybody sweating. So I said, I'll take your advice. And I just kept moving across the bridge, walked over and chatted with some people, met some folks out there, and came across one of the kit stores, you know, the mobile Rugby World Cup stores outside, and there was a huge line. And I'm like, I'm not gonna stand in line for that stuff. Just pay the money. And then I looked up and I saw that they had a whole bunch of Velvetches jerseys hanging up. Like, finally! So I jumped in line. I stood in line for a good 35 minutes, and it was a snaking line. So I went this way and then back like this, and just kept going like that. Anyway, so as I went through the line, I watched as the jerseys disappeared one after the other. There were like 7 spots that were hanging in the back of this this trailer van, and it was a long one, probably about 30 meters long, with all these people selling stuff in there. And as I got closer and closer, the jerseys disappeared. The saving grace for me is that fortunately most Japanese are kind of short of stature and much smaller, not as tall as I am. So I had 2 people in front of me or 3 people in front of me, and I saw someone reach for what was appeared to be the last jersey, and it was because they had none under the table, none in the back. It was all hanging out. And I saw them hand it to someone, and I'm like, oh, no, it's gone. It's gone. And the Japanese person looked at it, and it was an extra large, so it was too long for them. So they went to put it back, and then the person selling stuff asked them a question, so engaged them just long enough that the 2 people in front of me went to other clerks to get assisted. And as I went to the other clerks, the jersey was still in the hands, and then that person said, no, okay, thanks, I don't want anything. After waiting all the time, they just wanted the jersey, and it didn't fit, so they passed. Walked off, and I darted over, and I got there, and I said, that jersey, don't let go of it, grab it. And I said, it's an extra large, and they said, yes. I'm like, whew. And there you go. That's how I got the Velvetcha jersey for the 2019 Rugby World Cup for Namibia. Kind of cool anyway. So Andre says, where were you from when you were in South Africa? Andre, I'm not South African. I'm an American. I have a great interest in South Africa. It's been with me since the 1970s, in particular since I read, excuse me, James Michener's book, The Covenant, which is historical fiction based in South Africa. And then at undergraduate, I studied Africa extensively as a historian. And then as an Army officer, wanted to become an Africanist, foreign area officer, and eventually did that. I've been to South Africa probably 450 times, maybe, quite a few times. I used to live in Botswana, in Gaborone, just across the border. Dumela Botswana. Let's see, Lijang. Yes, so I thank you. I do need a haircut. You are correct, but COVID-19 barbers are not permitted, and I'm not cutting this because it's too curly. Even when it's straight, it's too much. So I will get a haircut. For those of you who know me and see me in uniform, you'll know that this is not my normal look, nor is the Paul Kruger or Pete Retief. Now people tell me I look like Pete Retief with this beard. Anyway, some people say I look like Father Christmas, but I think the fact that I still have color here in this, whoops, sorry, there you go. Color in the side like that, right? And in here, kind of makes me look like Wolfman Jack. For those who remember Wolfman Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Martin, good to see you there. For those who are just tuning in, this is Indaba, Africa. I'm Chris, coming to you from central Pennsylvania. We're talking U.S. and South Africa today. Donald Trump has announced via a tweet, how else would he do it? The world's largest troll has told the world that he will designate through an executive order Antifa as a terrorist group. Thank God it's long overdue. The gloves will come off now as federal authorities will have the authority with federal law to take far greater actions against this domestic international terrorist organization that's finally labeled for what it is. These people trying to make our cities ungovernable and distorting and overstating issues, and now it's time for them to pay a price. Haman, welcome. Congrats. Well, thank you for congratulations to SpaceX and NASA for taking us back into space. Yes, for those who missed it yesterday, I had a live stream. I used the NASA stream, which is publicly available, and it's they're not charging for it. It's available for people to use it off YouTube. NASA wants people to watch it, and it was in the public domain. So I used that stream, and for those who watched my stream yesterday, I covered that. It was very emotional, and I kind of choked up a few times for those who watched it. It was exciting to see, and it was brilliant. Those who enjoyed the stream, thank you for tuning in. I had 461 views of the stream, and we had over 100 people for most of the time sticking with us for the full hour plus or so that we actually did it. But I got a copyright block this morning at 4:50 in the morning because National Geographic claimed that I used their content. I wasn't on National Geographic's channel. I was using NASA's channel. So I'm not sure what their claim is, but there was a 7-minute section of the video. Rather than simply cut out the 7-minute section, I decided to challenge them on this and say that, listen, I fundamentally altered the video, simply used as a background, and I narrated it. The only portion that I wasn't talking was during the actual launch, which is public service, but it was inclusive of a larger modification of the actual video stream. Didn't use it for profit purposes and gave credit. Anyway, all those things. But the real bottom line is I fundamentally altered it. So that should be the reason it shouldn't be a problem. And I don't know where National Geographic comes in unless National Geographic is paid by NASA behind the scenes to do their broadcast. Now, if they do that, then they're obligated to let us know that they are the ones providing the stream. If that were the case, I would have known that National Geographic had some sort of copyright claim to it, and I wouldn't have used that stream. I would have gone elsewhere. Anyway, for those, the reason I mentioned this is that it was a brilliant stream. It was really, well, maybe you guys, you tell me if you thought it was a good stream. Those who were here, I thought it was amazing. It was really, I really appreciate the chat. The chat was fantastic. It was a wonderful experience for all of us. Folks in South Africa with their kids got to watch the stream, watch the launch on my channel. That was especially nice for me. The kids got to see it because I've been inspired by space ever since I was a child. And so it's nice to see your kids get excited about it too. Yeah, and so now it's blocked. So no one can watch it except me until this block is lifted. And of course, National Geographic has 30 days to respond. So I now have 29 days I have to wait. Hopefully they'll respond quickly. But whatever the case is, I'm not meaning to bellyache about the copyright block, but it does block that video from being watched. And I was hoping people could go back and watch it again and again. So if it does become unblocked, I'll put a note out and let people know so you can check it out. But let me catch up on the chat here, folks, since I'm falling behind. Yeah, Wuta said that I need a haircut. Got that. Okay. Martin says, I wonder if Ramaphosa had the DCC acknowledge the SpaceX NASA success. I don't know if he did. Of course, most South Africans, for those in the crowd who are South African, are well aware that Elon Musk is a South African by birth, came to the United States, and is quite a visionary when it comes to a lot of things. With PayPal, with e-payment systems early on, way back when, helped him make his billions to get started, to give him his seed capital. Then he funded Tesla and had an idea for electric energy cars. While I have some challenges and issues with the Tesla Corporation and the prices of their cars, nonetheless, it is quite impressive. And then, of course, also founded SpaceX, a private space exploration company for delivering space vehicles, launch vehicles, recovery vehicles, rockets, and the software to do all that. And finally, after 18 years of the company being in business, 8,000 people work for SpaceX. So their payroll is probably about $1 billion a year. But they do receive contracts from NASA for providing rockets to launch things. And also they receive contracts from private sector for launching satellites into space for telecommunications companies, media companies, and things like that. So SpaceX is a privately held company, excuse me. Just clear my throat. And Elon Musk is the founder. He sat down and sketched on a piece of paper in 2002 his concept, his idea for the Mars Oasis, which was to be a habitat, a greenhouse on Mars so that humans could habitate and live and colonize Mars. 2002, with his goal of manned space flight to Mars. Well, here we are at a key milestone in that development 18 years later with NASA and SpaceX, NASA, a government agency, civilian agency of the US government, teamed up with SpaceX, a privately held corporation here in the US, and with the Falcon 9 rocket from SpaceX, the Crew Dragon capsule, and the NASA astronauts, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, NASA and SpaceX, for the first time since 2011, put US astronauts into space, into orbit from US soil. That's right, first time since we retired the space shuttle program in 2011, we have now launched our astronauts back into space. We've had space launches throughout that time, but they were unmanned, and there were things like New Horizons, which was the probe that went to Pluto and beyond, and other things that are taking place, plus the James Webb Space Telescope and other things and repairs to the Hubble, or equipment for the Hubble. So we have not had a manned space flight here since 2011 until yesterday. So congratulations to NASA, congratulations to SpaceX, congratulations to South Africa for producing such a visionary. Yeah, I know he came here earlier in life, but nonetheless, he was born in South Africa. So you all should take pride in that. It's quite a contrast to a country in which President Ramaphosa reportedly earlier today was once again doubling down on the concept that South Africa is going to fundamentally alter its existing economy. He called the economy colonial and racist. The last time I checked the election results of all the elections since 1994, the ruling party at the national level, excuse me, and at virtually every provincial level, and most of that time at most of the metropolitan areas, has been the African National Congress. If the economy is racial, or it's racism, and it's colonial, who's to blame for that? You can't blame the National Party into perpetuity. You have to accept responsibility for your actions at some point. Anyway, sorry about that. Keep clearing my throat. So, Slope, good evening. Good to see you there. Beautiful day in Cape Town. Good to hear. Andre, I don't know if I answered your question. I'm a little behind chat. Let me catch up here. Rita Corbison-Staden, good to see you there. Jonathan Hammond is in Lakeside. Lone Wolf, are you in Gabs? Are you in Habaroni? That's cool. I didn't realize that. Okay. William Vanderwalt, God bless. There's a frog in there somewhere. Starting to sound like Roman Kamenak. Great to know someone so passionate about South Africa. Good on you, mate. Well, thank you, Andre. It's my pleasure. Yeah, so much so. I've been a Springboks fan since 1984. It wasn't easy to be a Springboks fan because I was asked if I was a racist. That's rugby, man. Stop. And then when after I'd already learned German, the next language I tried to learn was Afrikaans. Self-taught myself Afrikaans. I don't speak it, not particularly effectively, but I do understand it, read it, and can listen to it and watch it and catch most of the conversations. And I learned the language because I wanted to better understand the National Party, the policy of apartheid, and why the Afrikaans community, both white and colored, had the mindsets and the worldviews that many of them had. And I found that learning a language teaches you an awful lot about a people. This might help. So hence my interest in South Africa and Afrikaans. Anyway, so Femben, you were staying in Kalahari, not Botswana. Maybe I was, or maybe you were. William says, so proud of my province, Western Cape, for taking the initiative and making the NC look like fools by being completely prepared. And for, yes, Western Cape is ready, but the rest of the country, that was another topic I'm going to get to here shortly. Let me catch up on the chat, and we're going to talk about the Minister of Education, Angie, and her failure to appear today. It's a shame it wasn't a court case, and then she could be booked. Paulie said yesterday both your streams were great. Comey Clue was good. Thank you, Paulie. Yes, for those who don't know, yesterday I had on Comey Clue, who's a Ghanaian American economist, and he's currently sitting in Accra. We talked about debt in Africa was the big overarching topic, and dispelling some of the myths and talking about the importance of the issue. But also we got towards the end talking about investment in Africa. There were a few questions from the audience for that. So I'll bring Comey back on at some point in the future. We're friends, and we get along quite well. And Comey's also going to open a few doors for me with some other West Africans and other Africans from around the continent who work in business and finance. And I'll take a look at who those folks are, and I'll invite a few of them on for my regular Saturday live stream and perhaps maybe a few special live streams. Now I'm hoping to get up to 2,000 subscribers, and that's not because I have a big ego and I need 2,000 subscribers, because trust me, that's nothing. Kim Kardashian probably has 2 million or 200 million. That's not what it is about. But I would really like to, bless, that hair is really out of control. Let's take the hat off. That might be better. I really would like to invite John Steenhuisen and also Helen Zilla onto my program, but I feel a little sheepish about doing it when I have a small number of subscribers. Not small to me and not small to this community, but currently at about 1,700 before this stream. So that's quite an improvement over 2 months ago when I just really started on this channel and I had one, and then within a short period of time, thanks to family and friends, I had 31. It'd be an indictment of how many family and friends I have, not that many, but anyway, yeah. So, but thank you, Paulie, for that. I thought the Comey Clue stream was quite informative. For those who don't know, I do a weekly Saturday live stream in which I bring guests on. Comey was on yesterday from Ghana. The week before, I had, make sure I get the order right here because I get confused a little bit. I had Herman Ruz, who I think is still in the stream here. Herman is a tobacco farmer in South Africa. That was a brilliant live stream on Saturday as well. The week before that, I had Joe Emilio, an American comedian based in South Africa, who tuned in. That was nice of Joe to tune in and or to join us. And the week before that was Ovigwe Eguegu, a Nigerian security analyst. We talked about Nigeria, national security, and Lake Chad Basin. Week before that was Evans Larrabee. Evans Larrabee is a small-scale commercial farmer in Ghana. He was a fantastic guest, talked about a lot of the challenges that farmers face in Ghana. And some folks in South Africa and the U.S. might be surprised to find that land tenure is one of the big challenges there. I knew that going in, but it was great to see Evans from his frontline perspective as being a farmer there, and also how they're dealing with COVID-19. And then my initial one was a few weeks prior to that when I had Jeff Rodriguez, who was the program manager for DynCorp, working for me when I was responsible for rebuilding the Armed Forces Liberia about 12 years ago. And so that's been the Saturday. I haven't set a guest for this Saturday, but I will be announcing that probably by Tuesday or Wednesday. So you can tune in Saturdays, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, if you want to catch the stream live and ask questions. And then I may soon go to monetizing my channel. That's because I'm missing some questions that some people really want to ask, and I don't like to do that. But then if they have a super chat there, then people want a super chat, they'll be able to, and can support the channel buying things. But anyway, I'm not monetized right now, but yeah, so I might just do that to help with those Saturday streams in particular. But anyway, not sure if I'll do it, but I'm thinking about it. Anyway, so yeah, so those are the Saturday live streams, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that's in Gaborone or in South Africa, Johannesburg. That would be 5 p.m. right now, and at this time of the year, I should say. And then that's 4 p.m. in London and Abuja. So that's every Saturday. And then I also do prepared videos. I did 2 prepared videos today. One of them was on the Kiffness issue with the mayor of Ekurhuleni Metropolitan, which is a part of Johannesburg metropolitan area. I'm all choked up about that. It's the place where most people arrive in South Africa the first time at OR Tambo Airport. That is part of it around Kempton Park. That whole area is part of that metro. The mayor of there, Masina, who called David Scott of the Kiffness a little racist in an effort to belittle him and to demonize free speech, which was made after the Kiffness did a satirical spoof of the South African national anthem. Something I was a little bit uncomfortable with myself. I found the humor in it. I saw it, but it's just something I take great pride and patriotism. I didn't take offense to it. It certainly wasn't racist. But Messina calling it racist is a very dangerous game this gentleman's playing, and it's just another example of conflating things. So I called it conflating the Kiffness, and that was my video. So that was on prepared video this morning, and I did another one in which I thanked South Africa profusely for giving us Elon Musk, and then I begged, and I'll do that today. Once again, if anybody could possibly take Trevor Noah back to South Africa, we'll pay for it. We'll come up with the funds for his flight. We'll even set aside money to subsidize housing for him, even in some place like Sandton City, and we'll pay for it. Please take Trevor Noah back. If you're paying attention, Trevor Noah is running his mouth once again on things he knows very little about and is intentionally trying to bifurcate the society based on race. He's an idiot, and he is not even the least bit entertaining here in the United States. His appearance on The Daily Show on Comedy Central, it's pedantic, it's boring, it puts me to sleep, it's not even fun. Oh, these guys are telling me to keep Trevor. No. He is South Africa's worst export. By the way, we love your BMW parts, we love your biltong, we love your rugby, we love your visionaries like Elon Musk, and we really love your South African sense of humor, but we do not like Trevor Noah. You can have him back. Send him to Wuhan paid holiday. That's a good one, Wesley. I like that. Send Trevor to Alcatraz. Yeah, well, it's just a theme park now, or not a theme park, but a visitor center. Brett says, "Have you ever been to Ghana?" Yes, Brett. Good to see you here, Brett. Glad to see you on. Yes, I have been to Ghana. Ghana was the first place I went in West Africa, and I've probably been to Ghana 35 times or something like that. Actually gone there on official business many times. Worked with the government in Ghana and also just for official business on my own travel there. I actually had a few friends in Ghana that are involved in the medical industry, healthcare and that sort of thing. So yeah, Ghana's a fantastic place. I have a basement full of kente cloth. And no, I'm not telling you where I live if you want kente cloth. Every time I go to Ghana, I buy kente cloth, and I never buy it at the European, the white person price. I usually go to Kumasi into the market there, and then I negotiate. And by all accounts, by most Ghanaians, I usually do quite well in my pricing. I get decent prices. Don't let people take advantage of me. But kente cloth, for those who don't know, traditionally is a cloth, beautiful, intricate patterns in rectangles and such with multiple colors, and it's lovely. Traditionally, it's done by men. It's not a task for women. Only men did it traditionally, although that's gotten altered over time. But kente cloth is quite amazing. Maybe I'll bring that up for another live stream some point and show that to folks. It's quite nifty stuff. But Ghana's amazing, Brett. Even when it had difficult governance, it wasn't such a horrible place. But yeah, with good governance, which it's had now for over 15 years or so, closer to 20, I should say, is that countries really going places. They're doing quite well. So as I mentioned, Comey Clue is currently in Accra, and he's a colleague and a friend of mine. So let me see. I probably missed a few things. Going to start following Saturday. Well, thank you, Andrea. I appreciate you following the Saturdays, but also please feel free to check out all his videos. I do a lot of videos. Now, some of my videos are whinging, like South Africans love to whinge, so do Americans. We share that trait in common. So we like to bitch and complain about things, but I do offer solutions in many of my videos in which I talk about this is a correct path for a business or company or for the government to take. So, and that's all over. I did a video which got some traction early on. I was quite proud of it, honestly. Not boasting, but and the reason I mention it is because I'm wearing a Velveeta shirt. It was a video on Namibia becoming the first African country allowed to ship beef to the United States. That happened a couple months ago. I did the video, and from a number of people who work in the agricultural sector in Namibia who know me from LinkedIn and came and watched the video on my YouTube channel, the feedback I got from them was quite good. I was quite heartwarming. They thought it was a very balanced video and also a very informative video. So it was just if you watch that video, you'll see the level of research that I do when I do my videos. It's not simply me just pontificating. There's some research here too, guys. I don't just walk up and do even a stray voltage. I check the news. I check some of my facts before I start telling stories about things. But especially for prepared videos, I put a lot of time into that. Since I'm now retired from the Army, for those who don't know, I should do a little bit of introduction very quickly. For my regular subscribers, my apologies if this is redundant. And it's not boastful. I'm just sharing so people have an idea. So I'm a retired colonel from U.S. Army. I retired in October of 2019 after 36 and a half years service in the Army, including 2 years in the Ohio National Guard after I was in the Army, went back to university and was in the Guard for a while. I've served 3 tours in Germany, 1 in Italy, and then in Africa, I've been stationed in assignments in Tunisia, Liberia, Botswana, Malawi, Niger, Mauritania, Uganda, and Ethiopia, where I worked at the African Union. I've done all sorts of things on the continent. I've been very fortunate to be involved in peacekeeping, in HIV research and programs, prevention and care, tuberculosis, malaria programs, and Ebola research in Uganda, peacekeeping training, professional military education, development schools, clinics, exercises, maritime events, maritime security, all those sorts of things. Pretty interesting stuff. And the reasons why I stayed in uniform, because it's kind of cool to do all that. But I've also worked at the National Security Agency, at the Defense Intelligence Agency, at the Pentagon, at the U.S. Africa Command, and taught at Iowa State University. And then my final task in the Army was the Director of African Studies at the U.S. Army War College. So I bring all of that to the table with me when I talk about these things. So while people are welcome to disagree with me, and I can be wrong about things, I welcome discourse. And if I get something wrong, please call me on it. I'm happy to admit if I get something wrong. It's not like I'm just some dude sitting around his Cheetos who decided to make a channel and devote it to Africa on a Sunday night. That's a little more to it than that. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm coming from. So welcome to the channel if you're new. Feel free to subscribe to the channel by smashing that subscription button right down there. Make sure you toggle that that little bell icon so you get notifications whenever YouTube decides to send a notification out, because I know it's not consistent. Beth Symes told me that she was, or Symes told me she wasn't getting the notifications yesterday. So sorry about that. Yeah, and then I do those prepared videos. That's anytime that something is coming. Now I do them not just in response to events. I also do prepared videos in anticipation of future or making recommendations. So if you go look under my African Union channel, I have a playlist, not channel, playlist for African Union. You'll see a video talking about the African Continental Free Trade Agreement and intellectual property copyright protection. Nobody's talking about that today. I'm telling you about that now because it's critically important and it won't come up for public attention until January of 2021, assuming Wuhan coronavirus COVID-19 doesn't intervene. But anyway, my point is that I also do things predictive. So I'm trying to offer solutions, not simply whinge about things. But yes, like Americans and South Africans, I too love to whinge. There's a little bit of joy and self-flagellation and moaning about how bad things are around us. But we do talk about solutions here. So I don't want you to think we're just talking about bad things. Is our biltong like your? No, Andre, your biltong is not like our jerky at all. Our jerky is hideous compared to biltong. And honestly, when I'm honest, I actually prefer the biltong in Botswana to South African biltong. Yeah, true story. Anyway, St. Ledger, welcome back. Hey, good to see you again. I responded to your question on one of the videos, St. Ledger. I hope that I answered your question. And I did watch the video that you sent me. I didn't get to finish all of it. I take it that was footage from when he was posting things when he's younger, because if it's him, he looks a lot younger than he does now. So anyway, Lezan, hey, good to see you here. Noah can build a boat. Yeah, maybe Noah can build a boat. Go to Brazil. What do you say about the tobacco ban in South Africa, Chris? Well, Libala Africa, I think that the cigarette tobacco ban in South Africa is utter nonsense. Now, for those who don't know, I don't like cigarettes. I don't smoke. I detest the stench of cigarettes. I can smell them from 100 meters away and not just in the dark of night. I can actually smell them and they give me a headache. If I'm in a restaurant and somebody's smoking, it'll annoy the people I'm with because I'm like, somebody's smoking here. Somebody's smoking. Yeah, somebody's smoking here. I can smell it. And then eventually people spot the person smoking 40 or 50 feet away, so 20, 30 meters away, and that cigarette's bother me. That said, smoking is not illegal and people are certainly welcome to smoke. The ban on tobacco in South Africa is irrational, it's unfair, it's callous, it's cruel, and it is being used to fuel criminal syndicates. For what purposes, I do not know. There are lots of claims about Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma and her getting money from these syndicates. I don't know if that's true. I'm not going to make that claim. What I am going to say is that it's shameful and it's wrongheaded, it's paternalistic, and it's dumb. Simply dumb. Hundreds of billions of dollars of rand lost to the state treasury. People smoking cigarettes of unknown origin, oftentimes putting their own health at risk. And then the tax money lost, which should be going to schools and to pay for police services and for feeding the poor and for maintaining governance. But it's all gone because of the stupid, pig-headed, wrong decision from a body that is not democratic, the National Coronavirus Command Council, which is an undemocratic appointed body that is ruling by fiat in South Africa, and the world should pay attention to this and start taking action against the government of South Africa. That's what I say about the cigarette ban. How's that? St. Ledger, if you're wrong, you would like to know about what? What did I miss? About Ronaldo? I think you might be wrong, St. Ledger. We could probably talk in private rather than do it here. But you may have a different view, and you've probably followed him far longer than I have. So I may not have the whole picture. I don't have issues with him. I don't agree with everything he says. You know, we did a little political test on Political Compass to show where people come out, and I came more to the right than Ronaldo. So anyway, but I don't want to. We can talk about that privately. Martin says, "Imagine Chris hosting our Minister of Defense. Oh, that would be awesome. Actually, I'd like to host Lindiwe Sisulu, who was your Minister of Defense previously. I'd like to interview her. That'd be fantastic. I would give her the respect she's entitled to, and I also think she's a walking idiot like most of the members of the government. But she does have her shortcomings, in my view. Any other country also banning tobacco? No, Hank, you are the only country on the planet banning tobacco. Now, think about that. Only country. Now, other countries have implemented tobacco or alcohol bans, but not tobacco. Only country in the world. Is dumb. Somebody's dumb. Okay. Sticky J Gaming says her son, his son is CEO of that company. That's true. St. Ledger says, how can you make a video without watching the whole judgment? Well, I can't, St. Ledger. I just said I can. I haven't watched the whole thing, so I can't come to that conclusion yet. I just asked you a question. No, I can't. I can't. What's uniquely South African? Whinging? No, it's not. Come to America, my friend. Yeah, it's universal for soldiers. One thing I learned, and then here's a little story. So I was in the Gulf War back in 1990, 1991. A rather short war, fortunately, but hang on. In the Gulf War, I was in all sorts of circumstances. I was in the advance party. I went out and stayed at this place called Cement City, which is an old cement factory. We slept in big tents. It was miserably hot in December and cold in the mornings, and we had some rain. And it was not that nice. Think of MASH, the television show. It was kind of like that. It's what it reminded me of. And I would go to dinner, this mass dinner with people with prepared rations, and they were average, they were okay. But then I slept on my cot, and I kept getting woke up every night by this rat that was about this tall. I'm not kidding, about that tall, bigger than my microphone. Yeah, that's pretty big. And that rat would come in, and one morning I was sleeping, and I woke up on my cot at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was the rat right in front of my face. Yeah, anyway, I couldn't kill it, tried to get rid of it. So I lived in those conditions. Then I was a field ordering officer, which is the person who purchases things on behalf of the Army. And then we have another officer who's the dispersing agent because the Army can't trust an officer to carry the money and buy things. In order to avoid corruption, we let two people become corrupt. No, just kidding. So another person carries the money and then you do the actual ordering. So, and you're supposed to keep each other straight. Well, the guy that I was teamed up with to do the ordering before the war started, turns out that he was the son of the two-star Air Force general who was the commander of the United States military training mission in Saudi Arabia, two-star general. And my colleague was a first lieutenant. I was a second lieutenant. So we went to Riyadh, and I got to stay in this massive house with satellite phones. This is before mobile phones, even satellite phones, huge screen TVs, like massive things we see today standard. Back then, think about the 1990, almost nobody had that sort of thing. You had to be incredibly wealthy. And I stayed in that kind of opulent luxury for a few days when I was down in Riyadh. Then I went back to the desert, slept in a hole where I dug the hole out in the sand, and it rained and it collapsed on me, and I woke up buried in sand, completely soaked in my sleeping bag with my poncho liner. Those conditions to later going to King Khalid Military City. And anyway, my point is I saw all kinds of circumstances and stayed in all kinds of circumstances during my time in Saudi Arabia. But what I discovered is no matter how good someone had it or how bad they had it, soldiers just complain. They always complain about something. It's human nature. It's soldiers' nature. And so whinging is not a uniquely South African thing, if that's what was meant. Definitely not. Vaping. What about vaping? You guys are into vaping. Here we go with the vaping thing. Okay. Bite Your Ankle says no. Okay. Stop smoking cigarettes. Oh, Hank, you stopped for 16 days. Wow. Good for you, man. Good for you. It's an expensive habit. I got to go, need to sleep. Hey, thanks for coming in. Take care. Uh, you guys are talking about vaping over here. St. Ledger was in Angola. Why can you not see a scam artist and call him out? Where are your balls, man? Well, they're attached to somewhere between my leg last time I checked. Not trying to be a smart out there. You were in Angola. Okay. You want to talk about that? Please share that. I'm happy to talk about that. Bite Your Ankles. I give up my wife and Vodacom both down. I get the chat, but not Chris's feed, so I'll watch later. Oh, sorry to hear that, Bite Your Ankles. That's unfortunate. That's a bad connection. Well, let me talk about some of the news events here quickly since I've caught up with the chat. At least I think I've caught up with it. Yep, looks like it. All right, so the BBC runs a story today called Coronavirus in South Africa, 8 lessons for the rest of the continent. And they actually have some good lessons in here. So, what's that? I don't know why it's